Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. Today we are continuing the adventure of the Ravens. This is my original Dungeons & Dragons solo campaign using Chainmail and Outdoor Survival. The group has captured the Goblin King and all their treasure, and now they got to get back home. They are, of course, pretty far from home. They've got 9 goblin captives plus the king. They've got a bunch of silver they got to transport back, so it might be a little bit of a dangerous journey, but you know, they're hoping they get there. Okay, so we got to get out of here. We're going to collect all the Goblin King's treasure. And because they have surrendered, we have them now as hostages. We're going to use these elite goblins to help us get this out of here. I mean, they're not going to fight for us, but we can we took their weapons and we can basically make them carry stuff for us because we just lost two player characters. And so I think we can have them carry our dead characters. And unfortunately, let me check. We might just have to be overly encumbered for a minute. So I think we'll bury them out in the... I was going to say we'll have to leave some of the treasure behind to carry the characters back to town, but they're not getting resurrected. We're way too low level. So we use the goblin, elite goblins to... for now, we're going to keep them captives, and we're going to make our way out. So there's 15,000 silver pieces in here, which is a lot to carry. But again, we have the help. We need to get out. So I'm going to make one roll for wandering monsters here to see if any of the regular, because we know all the elites are here, to see if any of the regular goblins kind of cut us off. They do not. All right, we move outside to our horses. This is day 15. We're basically going to take the goblin elites who helped us. We're going to make them dig holes to bury our friends, and we're going to tie them together so they can't move very fast, or to a tree or whatever, and then we're going to leave. Because we don't murder captives because we are lawful. But, yeah, that's day 15. I don't think we're going to, because of all that, because of all the burying and stuff, and I would just say we take the bodies and bury them on the way, but I think at this point, we're gonna have to do it there because, well, we could retreat with the goblins for a day and then, see, we don't want to leave them out in the middle of the woods by themselves. At least near their encampment, other goblins will find them. How ruthless do these player characters want to be? I think it's unlikely that they will... So there's 2 ways I can go here, kind of bouncing around. One is what I just said. We come to the top of the goblin encampment, we move far enough away so that we're not going to be seen. We basically have them dig some holes for our player character friends, and then we tie them up. So they're kind of close by in the goblin hunting grounds. They're very likely to be found by their friends soon. Certainly within probably that evening, right? Because the goblins patrol at night. That would be one solution. The other solution is to take them with us for at least one day and then do the same thing, but like 1 hex away. If we do that, it's very likely they might not be found by their goblin friends and could just end up dead. So we're kind of sentencing them to death. We did invade their lair and steal their gold, so I got to feel a little bad about doing that. So I think it's unlikely, and we're going to use the Oracle dice, it is unlikely that we would do the second option. So I'm going to say it's likely that we'll do the first thing. So do we do the burial and stuff close by so the goblins will likely survive? No, we don't. Straight up no. But again, when you are doing like advantage on these dice, you can re-roll 1 die. So I'm just going to re-roll this one. Yes or no? Do we do the burial up there? No. All right. We do the bad thing. This group is definitely setting themselves up for some bad luck later in life. So maybe they're afraid. Maybe they don't do it on purpose. And honestly, we probably could just leave the goblins. We don't have to tie them up if they're that far away. We could leave them and then just go for it. That's probably what we do. All right, so let's retcon that a little bit. And we're going to say we get out of here as quickly as possible because we're nervous. We load up our friends on the mules. We load up some of the silver. There's too much for us to carry now. So we make some of the goblin elite, all of them really, because we don't want them following us. We take all of the goblin elite, including the king, with us to... Oh, you know what? While we're over here getting the treasure, let's just do something. I'm going to give him a +5 to his saving throw. But we're going to try to charm the goblin king. And the reason why I'm giving him a +5 is because we're stealing all his treasure. So he's got to get a 10 or better to pass the save. He does. Okay, so it doesn't work. I was going to say maybe we could charm him, but that's not good. Okay, so we do what I just said. We get to the top. We're a little nervous. We throw our companions on the back of one of the mules. We load as much treasure on the other as we can. Plus, remember, we're carrying some food and stuff. So we basically take these Goblin Elite and the Goblin King with us. And we travel out on the field for the rest of the day. And then we camp. And then we'll decide from there. Let me switch to the map and we'll make some decisions. Because I might change this up a little bit as my brain is working. On day 15, which is actually September the 9th, the party is going to leave. Now, because of all that happened, that's what I was talking about, well, we decided that we're just going to take them with us. So I think we can get a full movement on this day, which would be 3 movement points. And, you know, a big part of me is thinking, if we let them go with no weapons, right, they can't really chase us down, right? I mean, I guess they could, but if they have no weapons, it'd be foolish to do that. I guess they could follow us, but we're going to be going through the desert. So I don't think that it's a bad idea to just simply take them with us for 1 full day so we can get as far away as we possibly can go. So that's going to be my plan. So again, we bury our 2 friends, but not yet. We're going to do it in the desert. Let's get this guy over here. My dice. So we picked up 2 more weeks rations. Again, that's because we know we can carry 3 weeks rations. So just to keep things simple, we're just going to say that we picked up 2 more weeks rations. So we should be good there. And we just need to roll to see, as we're rushing out of the Goblin encampment, right? Are we going to get lost? I mean, I hope not, but let's just see. We're only counts if it goes in here. Again, we're in the clear, so we're only lost on a 1. No. Okay, so we can move where we want. Again, I think the smart thing to do is to take the most direct path. So part of me wants to go this way and leave them here. And then start into the desert the second day. But I think we're just going to go for it because we are very limited on time. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And we're going to move right into the desert. So this is going to be the end of day 15, which is 9-8. And now we need to check for an encounter. In the desert, there's an encounter on a 5 or a 6. No encounter. Okay, so we set up camp here. We buried the bodies. We rested. Here's the question. Should we take with us... Like, I wouldn't want to just take with us the Goblin King because they might die on their own getting back when we finally release them, right? So we got to give them at least a fighting chance to get home so we don't bring down goblins on, you know, our town or whatever, right? I mean, we don't know what could happen from this raid. But we also don't necessarily know how many goblins it would take to survive. I think he needs at least a couple of guards. So what I'm thinking is we release some of them now. And then we release the Goblin King and a couple of main guards. But at that point, we'd have to give them weapons if they're that far away. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, so talking through this, we're just not going to... I was going to roll through it, but we're just going to release them when we leave today. Because remember, goblins don't like to travel during the day. So we're basically going to... We're going to scoot. If they try to attack us during the day, that would just be silly. Plus, we have all their weapons. So what we're going to do is we're just going to basically be like, here's 2 days rations, just to be safe. And so long, been good to know you, and we're on our way. So it is the desert. So let's just for fun, let's do this. Do the goblins get lost? The chance of getting lost in the desert is 1, 2, or 3. They don't. Okay, so the goblins are going to get home. Do we get lost? 1, 2, or 3? No. Okay. So again, with our movement, we can go... You know what I think I'm going to do? Okay, no, we can go like this. 1, 2, and then tomorrow we'll have 1 extra one. So that's the end of day 2. Encounter on a 5 or a 6. We no longer have the Goblin King with us. Day 3, do we get lost? We do. Okay, which direction do we go? 6, which is diagonally this way, but we can't do that, so we just go straight up. So 1, 2, unfortunately, and we can go 3, 4, and get back to where we were. Now, in outdoor survival, you can't just immediately turn around and go back the way you came, but this is not outdoor survival, so we can do that. So that's the end of that day. This is where the desert can be dangerous. We're rolling now for an encounter. A counter on a 5 or 6. No. Okay, next day. Do we get lost? 1, 2, or 3, we're lost. We are not lost. Move 1, and we'll be able to move 2 tomorrow. Is there an encounter? Nope. Are we lost? Nope. So again, we can move 2. Is there an encounter? Nope. That's day 5. This is an important one. If we're not lost today, then we'll do our rest day in the clear, which would be ideal for us. So 1, 2, or 3, we are lost. We are not lost. So 1, 2, 3, we end in the clear. An encounter is only on a 6. No encounter for day 6. Day 7, we're resting. So 2 dice, morning and evening encounters. Evening encounter in the clear. So where's my D8? We're going to roll a D8 in the clear. 1 is a men. We'll roll typical men. You can see that, right? It's on the, okay, typical men. 9 is brigands. So brigands are like bandits, except they are chaotic, and they come in groups of, I think I want to say 30 to 300. Let's check that. All men come in groups of 30 to 300. We'll count this as a D10, so D10 times 30. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, so that is 120 brigands. So it's only 40% of their group. Let me just check something. Is this their lair? All men, as it's stated, humans, as it would be, have a 15% chance of being in their lair. So I'm going to roll red die first. Is this their lair? No. Okay, so they're just passing through. So we have 40% of the total maximum number of brigands. Our group is 9, because we have the 3 mules that we're not riding on, so they count as people. So we have 9. So we have a 50% chance of evading them. 50% chance. Let me just check something with the. Typically, men, as it would be humans, on foot are the same speed as us, right? So that's not really an issue. But if the makeup of brigands is more horsemen than footmen, then we might. But I don't think so. Brigands, sea bandits. Okay, so we know from the past that bandits, only a small portion of them are on horses, percentage-wise. So we're going to say they're the same speed as us. So because they're the same speed as us, and because of the numbers, there's a 50% chance to avoid them. However, we need to see if anybody is surprised. We are surprised. Okay, so the way that we do this is we have a couple of options here. They're basically going to surround us. I think we're going to just run. So there's 120 of these guys, and they have surrounded us outside, because if there's that many, they surround you. Okay, they're pretty far away, though. So maybe they're kind of like a wolf pack, right? They're kind of skirting on the outside of us. They're 60 yards away. So are they going to move in on us? Let's see. I mean, they know that we're easy pickings. Man, we really need the silver. We cannot be robbed by brigands. We're going to have to run. So now there is still a chance. So even when you're surprised, let me check this. Surprise Marty mean the advantage chance. Oh, okay. So I think I said this earlier. Normally, if we surprise the enemy, I just automatically allow for an evasion. But the actual rule is, if the party makes a surprise, it's doubled. I'll try to use that in the future. Surprised by a monster is negated unless they use some form of magic or the terrain is woods. So, I mean, we have a sleep spell, 2 sleep spells. So we could actually potentially wipe out a chunk of them that are the closest to us and make our way through. All right. You know what? Again, if the party wanted to try to do that, I would allow it a chance, so I'll do the same thing. Can we, because they're so spaced out around us, And our movement is 12, right? And their movement is also 12. But they're 6 away from us. That could just be the closest group to us. So, you know, they're like, it's a circle, right? And we're in the middle because they circled around us. So if 6 here and 6 here, so if we can take out a big enough chunk here, you know, we can maybe get it so they can't be right on top of us with 2 sleep spells. Let me check we're going to test our luck. Do we see basically a section of bandits that with enough of a hit with the sleep spell could allow us to break through this and make a run for it? Let's roll. So this is the oracle. Oh yeah, yes, and a sun. Okay, good. So what this probably means, you know, because since we rolled a sun, is that this is maybe a patrol of the bandits that have surrounded us, not all of them, the brigands rather. So we're going to say that there are only a portion of the brigands here, and we're going to be able to, and the reason why this matters is because if we can do this, then we're not going to get attacked. We're still going to have to run, but we're not going to be attacked. So we're going to have to use both sleep spells. And what I'm going to do is the sleep spell sleeps basically 3d6 minus 1, which could be a total of, what, 17? So 32 total. If I sleep at least half, you know, the max that I could do, then we're going to get through. Otherwise, the remaining will attack us, if that makes sense. Let me roll it. Ooh, I rolled terrible. So half of would be 17. So that's, no, okay, nope, that's not very good. That's 12. Oh, actually, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's exactly half. Okay, so basically about 30 or so of these brigands surround us, and we're able to sleep spell out a big chunk, and we make our run for it. So now all that really means is we have to now get a 50% chance, or we don't have to, we have to get a 50% chance of evading them. 0-9, we do it. Okay, so I don't know if I counted this day or not. Oh no, yeah, I did. This was the rest day. So this is day 7. So basically what ends up happening is they set upon us at night, and a small group kind of rides into raid our camp, thinking that we're easy pickings, and we drop them with the sleep spell, throwing off the other part of the group. They're a little confusion for a second, so we rush off into the evening and travel throughout the night to get away from the brigands. And they don't bother chasing us, because maybe they think, wow, you just dropped a chunk of us with magic. Who knows what else these people could do? So they do not follow us, and we move on. So if we had failed that, what would have happened is we would have moved 1 hex randomly, and then we would have had to try to evade them again. But since we got it, we're good. So, day 8. We're in the clear. We're only lost on a 1, which we are not. 1, 2, 3. We're home on day 8, which would be 9, 16, home. Now, we have brought with us 15,100 silver pieces and 50 gold pieces, of which half must go to paying off the map. Even if it pays off more than half, that's kind of how the mappers make their money, right? The patrons make their money, rather. Yeah, we owe 270 gold pieces on this map, because what we're going to pay, again, I just do it in gold. So basically we took home, show you how this math works. I'm just going to make it all silver for a second. So 50 gold pieces is 500 silver, so that's basically 600 silver. So we got 15,600 silver pieces what we brought home, which is the equivalent of 1,560 gold pieces. So we're going to pay 1,560 gold pieces to our patron. That's how they make their profit, like I said. And we now owe nothing. It's paid up. But that also means that we have 1,560 gold pieces worth of treasure. And of course, the experience points that we got for any of the combats that we did. So I'm going to figure that out. I think some of the people, not her, There's a small potential that maybe the cleric will level up. Probably not. It takes a little while sometimes with these. But they have completed this, which means that the next time the ravens go out, the patron will buy another map for them. It's September. Well, I'll do it when they go up, because if I was going to just buy the map now, but then I'd have to do the math for if anybody bought them randomly. All right, so I guess we'll leave it there. Basically, we've got the surviving members of the Ravens. These 6 characters are now about 1,500 gold pieces richer. As much as it might be kind of ghoulish, obviously we did bury their friends in the desert, but when they did that, they kept their stuff. So because he's got a longbow, which might be useful, and this person has a heavy crossbow, and more importantly, he's got plate armor, which is expensive, and we couldn't buy plate armor for one of the other fighters. So I think, it might have been the other one that died, so maybe it doesn't matter, but we'll get our fighters in better armor, with better weapons, hopefully, and send them out on another mission. Aha! I realized as I was doing this, I did the math wrong. So it was 1,560 gold pieces equivalent that they brought back. The patron gets half of that towards the map, so 780, which again, they only owed 600. Well, they already paid. They only owed 270, so that more than covers them. So that part's right. But over here, it matters because they only have 789 gold pieces, not 1,500. But they did bring all of it back, so they get all that experience points. So when I'm doing their experience points, the kobolds were half a hit die. So they were worth 700, because there was 14 of them. And the goblins, we killed 9 of them. They were worth 900. So 1,600 experience points for combat. And then for picking up the stuff, that would be where the 1,560 would be. That'd be experience points. So you're looking at a total between the party of, what was that, 3,160 experience points. And the way I do it, I mean, I've seen people do it a lot of different ways, like subtract from the balance any like combats that were made before people died and things like that. I don't do that. I just look at the group at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So I'm going to divide that by 6. And that's basically how many experience points each of them get. What's that? 500 and 2, 4. So 526. I'll round up to 527. So they're going to get 527 experience points each. It will, of course, be modified if they get a bonus, like they get plus 5%. So like these guys, they're so close. They have 1347, so they're not going to quite make it, I don't think, even with the bonus. But we do have a cleric, and they usually require a little less experience points. So we might actually get our cleric to level up. Let me just look at them while we're sitting here. Here's our cleric. Yeah, our cleric's at 1347 as well. They only need less than 200, so our cleric is going to level up. So we're going to have a level 2 cleric. The fighters and magic user are all going to stay on level 1 for now. If you've been enjoying these actual plays, please do take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Check the description. You'll find links to my Discord server. Join the community over there. Also, links to all the stuff I'm using. I get lots of DMs where people are like, what were you using? Check the description. It's probably listed in there. If not, go ahead and make a comment, and I will try to get you a link. Talk to you soon.